Long ago in the month of August 2022, I reached a mental crisis. To take Andy's mentorship and shell out a bunch of money, or to just let my cash fester in the deep recesses of a bank that only gave me less than 1% return in interest. Just kidding! Hi guys, today I'll be talking about the mentorship I took in 2022 right before Lightbox Expo. So, at the end of SB2, Andy had broken the news that he would be offering a new mentorship with 10 spots available, and I thought it'd be good to start adding stuff to my portfolio. I had put some storyboards I had done in Stephanie's class and another one you can see on my YouTube, but I really felt there was something missing in my work, and I didn't feel confident that those pieces were good enough to actually be in my portfolio. So I caved and decided, along with Trent and my fellow classmate Charlie, to take a chance at the mentorship. I thought it'd be really good since Andy's story breakdown method was really working for me and was transforming the way I viewed storyboarding and storytelling in general. In the month between SB2 and the mentorship, we had basically 1 month to take this script writing class on Project City and come up with our own script. So every morning, I would go outside, take the class, and start brainstorming for my script. I went through probably 5 different iterations of it in that month, and it was a really steep learning curve for me because as someone who mostly only consumes really long form content like large book series and long TV shows, I kept having to fight scope creep because as I kept writing, my story kept expanding and I kept adding backstory to my characters, and I started creating a whole world that was super unnecessary to my script. But eventually I managed to get a 2 to 3 page script written down with the beginning, middle, and end. Finally, the day came of the first day of the mentorship, and I was extremely nervous despite the class being on GoToMeeting. So during the end of SB2, we basically had the opportunity to peek into the previous mentorship that Andy ran and see all the pitches that the students were doing. And lo and behold, most of the other students, other than Charlie, Trent, and I, were from that previous mentorship. I was really starstruck because I felt like I was among great storytellers, and I had seen all their work before during the pitches, so I was super nervous about my script being incompetent, but everyone turned out to be super friendly and excited about storyboarding in general, and I felt like all of them were my mentors. The mentorship was intertwined with a general class of around 200-ish people, so basically the lecture would include the 200 plus people, and then the mentees and Andy would jump off to the GoToMeeting link and the critique would commence from there. The Discord was super fun and I met a lot of like-minded people, and we had movie nights every week, and we would have days where we would analyze different scenes and shows, and occasionally we would have game night too. Anyways, I think I ended up rewriting my script 4 times during the mentorship because I kept missing the mark on the midpoint, and it was super frustrating. I was getting super frustrated during the 3rd rewrite, but one of the other mentees mentioned that I needed to stick to one theme. This was something that surprised me because I had thought previously that I was sticking to one theme, but digging deeper, it looked like I had 2 to 3 different themes going on in my script, so she was definitely right. I needed to stop the scope creep in its tracks and decided on one element to focus on. So because of that advice, I finally managed to nail the script down and was able to start the storyboarding process. The class ran for 10 weeks if I'm remembering right, and the final class was the Wednesday before Lightbox Expo. On that day, I got on a plane and landed at the Ontario airport, hopped into a car and drove to the place we were staying at, and hectically got my computer and storyboard files out to pitch the class. It was kind of embarrassing because on the plane my hair ended up like matted to my face and my clothing was really wrinkly and the lighting made me look kind of sick. And then right before the pitch, I wasn't able to find the final file on my computer, so I just had to pitch using one of my older files where the perspective was insanely wonky. It was super awkward in the beginning also because there was no dialogue in the beginning of my board and I was just clicking through and I forgot to say that I was starting, and so it was just silent for what seemed like an eternity. But in the end, it was satisfying to pitch a scene to so many people, and I really appreciate everyone who stuck around to watch my sketchy pitch. The mentorship was a real eye-opener on where my weaknesses in storyboarding were. So here's some of the things I learned. 1. I learned that my perspective skills are very lacking, and grids are very, very important in storyboarding. I was kind of scared of grids before the mentorship, and even now when I have to draw a grid, I'm like, why? But it must be done, and it does make your storyboards feel more consistent and stable. 2. I need to not pay too much attention to clean lines, but more so character acting, because nice drawing and storyboarding are more of a surface level thing, while the density or meat of the story are the emotions, the acting, and the editing. I was focusing a little too much on making my characters appealing throughout the mentorship. 3. Be economical with the cameras. You don't always need to cut to get your point across and have an emotional impact on the viewer. Having a still shot focused on acting can be just as powerful as cutting. 4. There typically can only be one theme in a storyboard piece, otherwise it'll get muddled. The key is clarity, as it is in much of art. 5. You can categorize any scene. For example, a scene can be categorized into a breakup scene or confession scene, despite them not being a rom-com or any sort of romance. And last but not least, be intentional with your decisions. It's best if there's a conscious intention behind every decision you make. These little things can pertain to your own boards as well. I'm not a professional yet or anything, so you can definitely take this with a grain of salt. I just wanted to share what I learned at the end of the mentorship. Okay, one thing I did forget to mention in my Lightbox Expo video was that I got to meet everybody from the mentorship, except for 2 people. I think it was Jamie and Adrian that I didn't get to meet, but I got to meet everybody else, and we all met up at like this little restaurant, and it was also Andy's birthday, and it was really fun. And I also brought my friend who came with me to Lightbox Expo, and that was kind of awkward, but yeah, it was really fun. I couldn't tell who was who at first because everybody looks so different from the Zoom meeting cameras, and a lot of the time a lot of people would turn off their cameras during the meetup. It was super fun. Everyone was talking about movies, and that was when I realized I didn't really watch enough movies, and yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies since then and trying to catch up on all the movies that everyone's watching. If you guys watch this video, hello! hello from across the country. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope your storyboard endeavors are also doing great. And yeah, I hope we meet again very soon. Okay, bye!